Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottama Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayed Nashtaprayesha Bhadresho Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10. Canto 10 is given a special title by Srila Prabhupada, the Samam Bonum. Samam Bonum has got many meanings. It's a Latin word. The highest truth, the ultimate reality. And in the second canto, 10th chapter, first verse, describes the 10 topics of Bhagavatam. Shukadeva Goswami describes. Atra sarga visargascha sthanam poshanam utayaha manvantareshanu katha nirodho muktir ashrayaha. So the 10th topic, which is the subject matter of the 10th canto, is described as ashraya. Ashraya, Krishna is the only ashraya. He is the only shelter for everyone. He is fully independent and everyone else is dependent on him. Everyone is maintained by him. Everyone is nourished by him. Everyone is supported by him. So he is called Ashraya, Ashraya Tattva. We are all Ashrita Tattva, means we are under the shelter of Krishna, under the protection of Krishna, under the maintenance of Krishna. And Krishna is the maintainer, the protector, the master, the Lord, the supreme, everything. All these apply only to Krishna and nobody else. So this 10th topic is the most important topic in the Bhagavatam. And all other topics are meant to help us better understand the 10th topic. That is, the subject matter is the subject matter of Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyam. From all the Vedas, I am to be known. To know Krishna, to understand Krishna. So Krishna is described in the Bhagavatam, throughout the Bhagavatam. And in the 10th canto, specifically, Parikshit Maharaj is asking wonderful questions to Shukadeva Goswami to hear about Krishna in detail. So we will come across those questions now. So I'm reading from the first chapter, The Advent of Lord Krishna, Introduction. This doesn't describe the actual advent. The actual birth is described in the 3rd chapter. So first 2 chapters are describing the events leading to Krishna's birth. So the background is being given in this chapter, and the actual events leading to the birth are described in the 2nd chapter, and the actual birth is described in the 3rd chapter, and thereafter it continues till the 90th chapter. The biggest canto, 90 chapters. That will also be mentioned in purport here. Okay. So today we will discuss verse number 9 and few more verses, 10, 11, 12. 9, 10, 11, 12. 4 verses we'll discuss. Short verses, short purports. 9th verse. Please repeat after me. Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan. Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan. Pitur Gehad Vrajam Gataha. Piturgehad Vrajam Gataha. Kva Vasam Jnatibhihi Sardham. Vavasam Jnatibhih Sardham. Kritavan Satvatam Patihi. Kritavan Satvatam Patihi. Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan. Piturgehad Vrajam Gataha. Vavasam Jnatibhih Sardham. Kritavan Satvatam Patihi. Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan. Piturgehad Vrajam Gataha. Kvavasam Jnatibhih Sardham. Kritavan Satvatam Patihi. Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan. Piturgehad Vrajam Gataha. Kvavasam Jnatibhih Sardham. Kritavan Satvatam Patihi. Kasman Mukundo Bhagavan. Piturgehad Vrajam Gataha. Kvavasam Jnatibhih Sardham. Kritavan Satvatam Patihi. Kasmat. Why? Mukundaha. Krishna, who can award liberation to everyone. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pituhu, of his father. Vasudeva. Gehat, from the house. Vrajam, to Vrajadhama. Vrajabhumi. Gataha, went. Kva, where. Vasam, placed himself to live. Jnatibhihi, his relatives. Sardham, with. Kritavan, did so. Satvatam Patihi, the master of all Vaishnava devotees. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Why did Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, leave the house of his father Vasudeva and transfer himself to the house of Nanda in Vrindavan? Where did the Lord, the master of the Yadu dynasty, live with his relatives in Vrindavan? Purport, please repeat this translation. Why did Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, leave the house of his father, Vasudeva, and transfer himself to the house of Nanda in Vrindavan. Where did the Lord, the master of the Yadu dynasty, live with his relatives? In Vrindavan. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. These are inquiries about the itinerary of Krishna. Just after his birth in the house of Vasudeva in Mathura, Krishna transferred himself to Gokula on the other side of the Yamuna, and after some days he moved with his father, mother, and other relatives to Nandagrama, Vrindavan. Maharaj Parikshit was very much eager to hear about Krishna's activities in Vrindavan. This entire canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is full of activities performed in Vrindavan and Dwaraka. The first 40 chapters describe Krishna's Vrindavan affairs, and the next 50 describe Krishna's activities in Dwaraka. Maharaj Parikshit, to fulfill his desire to hear about Krishna, requested Shukadev Goswami to describe these activities in full detail. I'll read the next few verses also. Text 10. Vraje vasan kim makaron madhupuryam cha keshavaha bhrataram chavadhit kamsam matur adhatad arhanam. Translation. Lord Krishna lived both in Vrindavan and in Mathura. What did he do there? Why did he kill Kamsa, his mother's brother? Such killing is not at all sanctioned in the Shastras. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. One's maternal uncle, the brother of one's mother, is on the level of one's father. When a maternal uncle has no son, his nephew legally inherits his property. Therefore, why did Krishna directly kill Kamsa, the brother of his mother? Maharaj Parikshit was very much inquisitive about the facts in this regard. Text level. Deham manusham ashritya kati varshani vrishnibihi yadupuryam sahavatsit patnya katya bhavan prabho. Translation. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has no material body, yet he appears as a human being. For how many years did he live with the descendants of Vrishni? How many wives did he marry? And for how many years did he live in Dwaraka? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In many places, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is described as Satchidananda Vigraha, possessing a spiritual blissful body. His bodily feature is Narakriti, that is, exactly like that of a human being. Here, the same idea is repeated in the words Manusham Ashritya, which indicate that he accepts a body exactly like that of a man. Everywhere it is confirmed that Krishna is never Nirakar or formless. He has his form exactly like that of a human being. There is no doubt about this. Text 12. Etad anyacha sarvam me mune Krishna vicheshtitam vaktum arhasi sarvagya Shraddadhanaya Vistrutam. Translation. O great sage, who know everything about Krishna, please describe in detail all the activities of which I have inquired, and also those of which I have not. For I have full faith and am very eager to hear of them. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta Swami translations and purports. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachar Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So these are questions being asked by Parikshit Maharaj to Shukadeva Goswami. Throughout the Bhagavatam, we have questions and answers. So this format of presenting Shastra is a very interesting format. Our curiosity or inquisitiveness to know is awakened by the questions. And when the question is raised and we appreciate the question, then we are very eager to hear the answer or answers. And when this answer is given by the most learned, the most authoritative, and the best speakers, these speakers are all expert in the subject matter. They speak very, very much to the point. Just like the 10 topics in the Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami describes in one verse. The verse itself has got some few words, at the most about 12 or 13 words. And 10 words are the 10 topics. So how nicely Shukadeva Goswami describes without wasting words. About Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada says, Vyasadeva, while compiling Bhagavatam, every word that he's writing, he's weighing it, whether it is the most appropriate word to be written while composing the verses. Therefore, about the Bhagavatam, it is said, Srimad Bhagavate Mahamunikrute Kimba Paraihi. This beautiful Bhagavatam, one of the meanings of Srimad is full of beauty. The beauty of the composition, the beauty of the descriptions, the beauty of the all the ornaments of poetry. Poetry in Sanskrit is analyzed in terms of alankara. Alankara means the decorations, the beautiful decorations in the poetry, and the wonderful composition in terms of the descriptions. In trying to decorate the subject matter is not too much expanded in terms of words. Minimum words. They are completely describing, very clearly describing and also very beautifully describing. And the way Shukadeva Goswami describes, it arouses the inquisitiveness to hear more. Just like if I give you a small piece of a very, very delicious sweet, so you will taste it and say, I want more. It's so nice. So Shukadeva Goswami is speaking like that. He's only giving answers very briefly. Immediately Parikshit Maharaj will raise the next question. Kindly tell me more about it. Kindly tell me in detail. So Shukadeva Goswami speaking very briefly, and Parikshit Maharaj becoming more inquisitive to hear, to inquire, is making the subject matter very, very wonderful. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute. Muni means a very thoughtful person. Mahamuni is the greatest among thoughtful persons. All great sages, they have contributed to writing this wonderful Vedic literature, composing Vedic literature. They're all perfect. They're all very, very meaningful. They are very, very nicely composed. See, in Sanskrit composition, there are too many rules to be followed while composing Sanskrit poetry. It's not easy to compose Sanskrit poetry. And Vyasadeva is simply going on writing. Mahabharata has 1 lakh verses. Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses. Padma Purana has 55,000 verses. Skanda Purana has 82,000 verses. How is it possible? Sometimes atheists don't believe one person has compiled all this. So they think it's impossible for one person to do all this work in a lifetime. What they don't understand is Vyasadeva is no ordinary person. He is the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, it is possible for him to compile all this literature and continuously kept on compiling. His only work was compiling. So, this Bhagavatam is very, very special. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni. Among all the composers of Vedic literature, Vyasadeva is the greatest. Mahamuni Krute Kim Vaparaihi. It is said in the Bhagavatam, what's the need for any other scripture when this beautiful Bhagavatam is presented by the greatest Vyasamuni? No need of any other literature. One Bhagavatam is enough. Everything is there about spiritual life in this Bhagavatam. So this Bhagavatam is presented in the form of question and answer. So Parikshit's questions. So the question he asks here, why did Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, leave the house of his father Vasudeva? Krishna is the Supreme Lord, so he can do whatever he likes. Even though he is just born as a small child, he is no small child. He is not innocent, ignorant, helpless. No, he is the Supreme Lord. That Parikshit knows. So he's asking, why did he leave the house of his father Vasudeva? What is the reason? And after leaving, where did he go? He transferred himself to the house of Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan. So why did he go there? Why did he leave this place? Now the inquisitiveness also is important because Vasudeva and Devaki performed severe austerities to have Krishna as their son. And Krishna agreed to appear as the son, and he appeared as their son. So after having appeared as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, obviously the parents will be very happy. New child is born, very beautiful. The Supreme Lord himself has come. So they'll want to celebrate the birth, they'll want to raise the child, they'll want to offer so many nice things to him. And immediately he's leaving and going away. Why? Why did he leave? He is fulfilling the prayer. Vasudeva and Devaki, they are extremely happy. Krishna has appeared as our son. Obviously, they want to care for him, they want to raise him, they want to offer him so many things. They want to shower their love upon him. And he just goes away. And why did he go to Nanda Maharaj's house in Vrindavan? Who is Nanda Maharaj? Special. Krishna has gone there. And Nanda was living in one forest. So he is leaving a nice city and going to the forest. For what? Where did the Lord, the master of the Yadu dynasty, live with his relatives in Vrindavan? So, where can they live in a forest? Forest is not a place meant for a habitation of family people. It is for saintly persons who want to remain alone, away from city life, family life, and practice some tapasya. Some wild animals are living there. Family people don't stay in forest. And Krishna is not going there alone. With so many relatives, he is staying there. Where did he stay with all these relatives? What was he doing there? Then the next question. Lord Krishna lived both in Vrindavan and in Mathura. He transferred himself from Mathura to Vrindavan, but he came back to Mathura. Because I have heard that he lived in Mathura also. So what did he do there? Why did he come back to Mathura? And what was he doing in Vrindavan, in Mathura? What was he doing? What were his activities? And this question is very interesting. Why did he kill Kamsa, his own mother's brother, his maternal uncle, Sodar Mama? Why did he kill his mama? Such killing is not at all sanctioned in the Shastra. Krishna as the Supreme Lord, it is well known, he comes to establish dharma. Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. And in establishing dharma, Krishna not only teaches what is dharma, but he also teaches by his own example. So if he has to teach by his example, he himself is doing something which is not sanctioned in the Shastras. Shastras are the basis of dharma. So why did he kill his own maternal uncle of all the people? So Parikshit is curious to know. The next question. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has no material body, yet he appears as a human being. This is known to Parikshit. It was described earlier also in the Bhagavatam. The Supreme Lord incarnates, even though he is birthless, he takes birth. He appears as an incarnation. But he does not appear in the same form. He appears in different forms. Matsya Avatara, fish form. Kurma Avatara, tortoise form. Varaha Avatara, boar form. Narasimha Avatara, Nara Simha. Human, half man, half lion. All strange forms he appears. But as Krishna, he appeared in a human form. So why human form? Why God has to appear in human form? Generally, it is described in all the scriptures, God has got a four-handed form. Narayana, Vishnu, Narayana. Generally, it is described Narayana in the spiritual world. Narayana. Narayana is God. And he has got his four symbols, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. And he lives in very, very opulent palace in Vaikuntha. The description is given in detail in the scriptures. We'll read about that in the third canto. So, why does he come as a human being and he appears in this material world which is filled with miseries? No comparison between material world and spiritual world. So why he has to come? Okay, he comes for teaching us what is dharma, established dharma. Then he himself is breaking dharma, killing his own maternal uncle. So it is understood that he has no material body. But why does he appear in different forms? Human being, fish, tortoise, half man, half lion, boar form. Why does he appear like this form? For how many years did he live with the descendants of Vrishni? He appeared in a particular dynasty, Vrishni dynasty or Yadu dynasty. How many years did he live with them? How many wives did he marry? Now, how many years he lived is important because Krishna is deathless. Krishna is no death. Krishna is an eternal personality. He lives eternally. So it's strange that he comes, appears to take birth, and even though he doesn't have to die, somehow he disappears after some number of years. So how many years? Sometimes he just comes, performs his Leela, and immediately disappears. Sometimes he comes, performs some Leela, stays for some time, and then disappears. And some very, very, very rare incarnations like Naranarayana Rishi. Naranarayana Rishi appeared some millions and billions of years back. And they're going to stay till the end of the creation in Badrikashrama. So, Naranarayana Rishi is God himself appearing as twin sons of one sage. They are also appeared in the form of a rishi. They are performing tapasya for the welfare of the world. And simply sitting and doing tapasya. That's all. And how long? Practically the duration of this entire universe. So how many years they stay? Why do they stay so long or so little? What is the mystery behind this? Number of years they stay. And how many wives did he marry? Because it is kind of well known, Krishna married many wives. So specifically he wants to know. Some people say 8 principal queens. Some people say only one queen, Rukmini. Some people say 2 queens, Rukmini, Satyabhama. Like in our Los Angeles temple, Prabhupada has established the deity of Rukmini Dwarakadhisha, Rukmini Krishna. There are temples, our Chennai temple, we have Rukmini's, Krishna, Rukmini, Satyabhama. So it seems like Krishna had two wives, two queens. In Los Angeles, it seems like Krishna had one queen. Some place the description is 8 queens, Ashtamahishi. Some place it said he had thousands of queens, 16,000. So how many wives did he really marry? Kindly tell me accurately. Facts, I want to know the facts. And for how many years did he live in Dwarka? Dwarka was very, very, very opulent. Some very interesting facts about Dwarka. I'll just mention it is there in the later chapters. When Krishna built Dwarka, this Dwarka was not a city that was existing before Krishna appeared. It is a city he built. He created the city. And where did he do that? Underneath the sea. It was a city built underneath the sea. Krishna is Yogeshwara. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha. Yogeshwara means the master of all mystic powers. Yogis in this material world, they can have at most 8 major siddhis, 8 minor siddhis, and 4 auxiliary siddhis. 20 siddhis maximum they can have. How many siddhis does Krishna have? Yes, unlimited siddhis. So using his siddhi, he can do anything. But he does some wonderful things. What did he do? He built a city, Dwarka, underneath the sea. And there, when he built that city, he engaged some devatas. One architect of the devatas, Vishwakarma. Krishna directed him how to build a beautiful, wonderful city. And it's a unique city. Generally, city means there will be different kinds of buildings. This city also had varieties of buildings, but every building was of the standard of a palace. Every building was standard of a palace. So unique city, Dwaraka. And there the arrangements are all first class. The opulence of Dwaraka was greater than the opulence of Indraloka, Amravati. Indra's city is called Amravati. He is the king of the heavenly planets. He is the leader of the Devatas. He lives very, very opulently in the whole universe. Even though his planet is not the topmost planet, Swarga, but the higher planets, those residents are all simply interested in self-realization. So they are not interested in any opulence. They live a very simple life. So in maximum opulence, up to the limit of Swarga. So Indra is very, very opulent, lives very opulent palace. And the descriptions are there. In the 7th canto, there's a description. In the Bhagavatam. Many scriptures it is there. So Dwaraka's opulence exceeded even that of Indrapuri or Amaravati. And when Krishna built that city, the Devatas, how many Devatas are there? 33 crore, 330 million Devatas. They took this opportunity to do some service to Krishna. Each one of them decided to come and give one gift to Krishna. on his building the city of Dwarka. Ever heard anybody getting 330 million gifts? No Devata ever has got so many gifts in one occasion. Maybe over the period of their entire lifespan, if they have many different functions, maybe they will get millions of gifts. But one function, no Devata has got 330 million gifts. Krishna got so many gifts. Every Devata is eager, after hearing Krishna has built the Dwarka city, to come and give the gifts. Like this, there are so many special things about Dwarka. Some more in some other class. So, therefore, the question is pertinent. This wonderful city, how many years did he live? After doing so much of beautiful work in constructing it, and all the Devatas giving wonderful gifts. That beautiful, excellent, wonderful city, how many years did he live? So, Parikshit Maharaj is very, very inquisitive to know all this. And finally, he is asking this question, this final question in this series of questions here in the first chapter. And then Shukadeva Goswami will start to answer. So this question is, O great sage, you who know everything about Krishna, please describe in detail all the activities of which I have inquired. So many things Parikshit has inquired. So all those activities kindly describe to me. And also those which I have not asked you. See how clever is Parikshit Maharaj. Because Shukadeva Goswami, moment Parikshit asks a question, immediately will answer is over. And his answer will be very brief and to the point. He will not speak one word extra. And Parikshit is eager to hear more. So in order to make Shukadeva Goswami speak more, very cleverly he is telling, also those questions I have not asked, please tell me about them. For, why is he telling this? I have full faith and I am very eager to hear of them. Shraddhadhanaya Vistrutam. I want to hear in detail and I am full of faith to hear. So therefore, please describe all this to me. Similarly, in the 8th chapter of the 2nd canto, Parikshit Maharaj asks series of questions. And those questions are quite exhaustive. One of the questions he asks is, please describe the different situation of the different planets in the whole universe. It's not a small question to answer. The whole 5th canto is that description. For that one question, he asked one question, and a whole canto of Bhagavatam is describing that. Shukadeva Goswami's answers. Okay. Then, at the end of all these questions, he's telling, kindly describe to me all that I have asked. Like this only, he's telling. And also that which I may not have asked. For you are Sarvajna, you are knower of everything. So kindly describe everything that I should hear from you. So in this way, the subject matter becomes very, very interesting. And Shukadeva Goswami is very inspired to speak about Krishna after hearing these wonderful questions and the inquisitiveness and the eagerness and the faith with which Parikshit Maharaj is hearing. Not only Parikshit Maharaj, that's an assembly of great saintly persons. And that description is also given in the first canto. Such great personalities from the topmost planet Brahmaloka arrived when Parikshit Maharaj decided to retire from his kingly duties and prepare himself to quit his body. He went to a holy place. And great saintly persons, when the news spread, Parikshit Maharaj is quit from his post as the emperor of the world, of this earth planet. So all the great souls from different parts of the universe, they heard that, they arrived there. Why? Because they wanted to witness Parikshit Maharaj quitting his body. Now this quitting the body is a big mystery. How to quit the body? What preparation? What happens exactly at the time of death? It's a big mystery for even the most learned scholars in the Vedic literature. Because in the scripture there are so many descriptions. What happens after death? So many descriptions are there. This particular fellow, he was very sinful. He was taken to Yamaloka and he was punished for so many thousands of years in this way, that way. And then he was given a birth as a dog in some hellish place. Somebody else, he was a pious person, but he made some last mistake. He could not even get a human birth. Forget about going to heavenly planets. He took birth as a deer. Like there's so many descriptions are there. It's very bewildering. What happens after death? Something happens. Life does not end at death. That is very clear. There is life after death. And you have to prepare for a better next life. Yeah. But even if I prepare, is it guaranteed I'll get a better next life? And if I'm going to get a better next life, what kind of better next life will I get? So therefore, it is mysterious. So this mystery, of course, because they are inquisitive to know what happens after death and how can we prepare for death, they study the Vedic literature. But whenever there is an opportunity to witness some great soul leaving the body, how does he leave the body? What are his preparations? What happens to him after he leaves the body? All this they want to actually personally witness. So great souls from all over the universe came. Now some of them, everybody came for this one purpose. But some of them did not come just for that alone. They also knew that Shukadev Goswami is going to speak the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam means the subject matter of Krishna. Because these sages are Trikalagnya. They know the past, present, future by their siddhi, by their yogic power, mystic power, they know. So they know that Parikshit Maharaj is going to quit the body. And also, before Parikshit Maharaj quits the body, next 7 days, Shukadev Goswami is going to speak about Krishna. So the more advanced sages, they came there also to hear Shukadev Goswami speak about Krishna. So this assembly in which Shukadev Goswami was speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, there were great saints, and the caliber of these saintly persons, some of the great saintly persons described in the Bhagavatam first canto, some of them, they had the power to purify a place of pilgrimage simply by their presence. Places of pilgrimage, typically Ordinary people go and dump their sins and come back. They become purified by taking bath, by performing some austerities, by giving some dana, by associating with saintly persons, by doing some worship. So ordinary people, they go to pilgrimage place to get purified of their sinful reactions. And what happens to those sinful reactions? They dump them in the pilgrimage place and come back. So after some time, dumping, like it's happening in our city, waste dump. After some time, the waste dump becomes, the sinful reactions, the dump place becomes loaded, overloaded with sinful reactions. Then how to reduce this overload? So saintly persons who are capable of purifying a place of pilgrimage simply by their presence. They just come to that place, all sinful reactions are completely destroyed to nil, nullified immediately. And therefore, some saintly persons, they keep visiting holy places. They don't come there to themselves get purified because they are already liberated souls. They are free from all sinful reactions. And they don't perform any more sin. They are simply engaged in spiritual activities. So they have no business going to a holy place to get purified of sinful reactions. They don't want any punya. So such saintly persons, why would they come to this holy place? They are already liberated. They don't want to witness another person who is purportedly going to get liberated now. Parikshit Maharaj. They have no interest in seeing somebody getting liberated. They're already liberated. They came to hear Shukadev Goswami describe about Krishna. Why? Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tatvataha. Among human beings, very few people are interested in perfection of life. Siddhi means perfection of life. What is the perfection of life? Liberation from material bondage. You can see in this world, not only now, even in the past also, most people either did not know or were not interested, even if they knew, the perfection of life, that of liberation from material bondage. Most people are not interested. So very few people take interest in achieving or working for the ultimate goal of life, which is liberation from material bondage. Kaschid yatati siddhaye. They try to achieve liberation. How many? Among millions, some handful few will try for liberation. And among those who are liberated, yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tatvataha. Rarely you will find one person who knows me in truth, who knows who is Krishna. So even among liberated souls, most of them do not know who is Krishna. Do not know Krishna. Mysterious personality. Mystical personality. So, because Shukadev Goswami is going to describe about Krishna, these liberated souls who are all great saintly persons who can purify the place of pilgrimage, they come there to hear about Krishna from Shukadev Goswami. So that's the standard of the Bhagavatam. That's the standard of the Bhagavatam. So we will hear the answers from the next verse. Thank you very much for hearing. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Some announcement. One more festival is coming up. We'll be celebrating ISKCON Dasara on 24th October. Celebrations will begin in the evening, 6 p.m. onwards. We'll have Rama Ashtottara Shatanamavali. Then we'll have discourse on the significance of Dasara festival. Then Harinam Sankirtan and burning of the effigies of Ravana, Kumbhakarna and Meghanath. So, wonderful festival. So, invite all of you to come and participate. Hare Krishna.